Okay, guys, it's me. I need some deep rest before I read this because we are on to part 2. We're about to find out what happened to Mr. T. Alright, everyone get ready. Here we go. Part 2. It's March now. So last time, that happened in February. So now it's March. So let's find out what happened. Oh my gosh, I can't turn these pages fast enough. Alright, here's Jessica's chapter. Oh, Jessica always tells us a lot. Okay, good. Here we go. Jessica. Act 9, Scene 1. It's been a few weeks since Mr. Terupt went into a coma. Okay. Mr. Terupt's in a coma from the snowball. Okay, I'll start over. Here we go. Jessica. Act 9, Scene 1. It's been a few weeks since Mr. Terupt went into a coma. I felt numb when I first heard. My mother got a phone call on the night it happened from Mrs. Williams. The principal was calling all the parents. Mom hung up the telephone and explained his situation. I sat paralyzed, unable to move or speak. It was the second time in less than a year that I was in disbelief. The first time was when Mom told me about Dad and his girlfriend. The day after the accident, our class had a substitute. I don't remember her name. I only remember our classroom being silent. We were given some silly worksheets to keep us busy, but no one could concentrate, not even Luke. Instead, we stared blankly at the papers or out the windows, each of us lost in an ocean of thoughts and roller coaster of emotions. Mrs. William came into our classroom later that morning. Boys and girls, I came up here to talk to you about Mr. Terupt, she said from the front of the room. I want you to know the truth and not some rumor that might be floating around. Mr. Terupt is in a coma, which means he's not conscious. That wasn't all Mrs. Williams said, but that's all I remember. I already knew the truth, but I wasn't ready to hear her or anyone else talk about it so freely. I knew about comas. People don't always wake up from them. It wasn't fair. I needed comfort. I wanted to read Bridge to Terabithia and Missing May. I wanted the company of Jesse Aarons and Summer and Uncle Obe. I don't know that book. Before Mrs. Williams finished, I did hear one thing she said. She claimed that the snowball incident was an accident, not anyone's fault. I sure didn't believe it. I sure didn't believe that, and I know my classmates didn't believe it either. I wondered if Mrs. Williams thought that Mr. Terupt had let things go too far, and if she did, would he be getting in trouble? I sure hoped not. He'd been dealt enough already. Besides, Mrs. Williams was the one who gave us special permission to go outside. We could blame her, but we didn't want to see anyone get in trouble. I just wanted Mr. Terupt to wake up and fix this mess. All right, that's the end of Jessica's chapter. Let's move on to Luke. I wanted to go and see Mr. Terupt. My mom and dad didn't think it was a good idea, but I wouldn't listen. I didn't stop pestering them about it. I needed to go. Eventually, they gave in. I stepped off the hospital elevator and stared down the long hall. Mr. Terupt was in one of those rooms. Nurses moved around behind some desks. I heard some of them laughing. How could they laugh? How could they laugh when my teacher was in a coma? They grew quiet as I walked past. I felt some of them look at me and my mom, but I just kept walking until I saw his name on the door. Terupt, room 404. A palindrome, just like our classroom. I need to learn what that is. That's embarrassing. I stopped and took a deep breath. I felt Mom's hand on my shoulder. I walked in. I saw him, on his back, perfectly still in his bed. Tubes poked into his arms. A mask covered his face. We know what that looks like. Machines beeped. His eyes stayed closed. He didn't move, not an inch. Only his chest rose up and then fell down with each frail breath. I wanted to say something. I wanted to tell Mr. Terupt I was there. I wanted to tell him he was going to be okay. I wanted to, but I couldn't. I tried, and I felt a lump in my throat begin to choke me. I didn't want to cry. I told myself not to cry. I had coached myself not to cry, but I couldn't stop it. Tears welled up in my eyes and fell down my cheeks. I turned and ran out of the room. Mr. Terupt was going to die. I just knew it. I saw him. I saw what he looked like. He was going to die. My teacher was going to die. The elevator's doors opened and I stepped in, my mom right behind me. How could he have let this happen? Why did he put so much trust in us? He should have learned from my plant concoction. He knew it probably wasn't a good idea, but he let me do it anyway. Just like he knew our rough play outside probably wasn't a good idea, but he let it go again. He should have yelled at us. He should have yelled at Peter for the frisbee. He should have yelled at him for the puddle of water. He should have yelled so that we knew he was serious. Then this never would have happened. He should have stopped us. Now he was going to die. We stepped off the elevator and walked to our car. As we pulled away, I saw the word hospital written on a sign. Mr. Terupt slept in the hospital. Dollar word. I almost smiled. Hopefully from the dollar word. All right, here's Jeffrey. Terupt's in a coma. I know what that's all about. I remember from when I was little. Comas are terrifying. I'm never going back to a hospital. Those places are full of bad memories and bad luck. I'd like to see Terupt, but I can't visit him. I can't do it. Luke told me it was scary. I know. People in comas die. It should have been me in that coma, not Michael. It should have been me in that coma, not Terupt. Peter's snowball should have hit me. Now our teacher's gonna die. This sucks. School sucks. Everything sucks. It was better when I didn't care. Remember, that's what Jeffrey was saying at the beginning of the book. He was saying school sucks. Everything sucks. And now he had a really great year, and now he's back to thinking everything sucks. So that's it. All right, here's Anna's chapter. I heard Luke telling Jeffrey that he went to see Mr. Terupt in the hospital, that it was awful, and that Mr. Terupt wasn't awake or moving. But I couldn't help feeling the way I did. I wanted to go see him too. I just didn't think I could do it alone. So I asked Jessica and Danielle to go with me. We sat at lunch. We were quiet. No one talked much, not since the accident. Anna, what's wrong? Jessica asked. She's always good at knowing when something's not right. Nothing, I said. I pulled my PB&J apart. Tell us, Danielle said. I still didn't say anything. I focused on my sandwich, picking at it but not eating. Come on, Danielle urged. I blurted it out. I want to go see him. Silence. I brushed my sandwich pieces into a pile. I noticed Danielle and Jessica weren't eating either. The three of us busied ourselves with staring at our food. Me too, Jessica finally said. Really? Danielle said. Aren't you guys scared to go? Yes, I said. I scooched forward. So let's go together. Will you guys go with me? I will, Jessica said, pushing her food aside. You think your parents will let you? Danielle asked. She was asking both of us, but I answered. I already asked my mom. She said she'd take us. I'll try, Danielle said. I want to go. We're stronger when we stick together, remember? Jessica said, just like Mr. Terupt told us. Her voice got quiet as she mentioned his name. We got quiet. We didn't talk about him anymore. It hurt too much. All right, and that is the end of Anna's chapter, and I'm going to stop there. So we will find out what happens when those girls go to the hospital. We'll see you guys. Bye!